Another player who could end up going to Saudi Arabia, well, certainly someone's been linked, is Wilfred Zaha. And speaking to talkSPORT after last night's 1-0 friendly defeat at Barnet, Crystal Palace right-back Joel Ward had this to say about his team's talisman.
Wilfred's Wilf. He's an incredible player. He's been, a talisman for us for so many years, and what he's done for this club is incredible. So obviously it'd be great if he did. But I think everyone as well would wish him all the best, whatever he decides to do. So, on a selfish point, you kind of want him in your team, but you've got to respect what he wants to do as well.
That was Joel Ward on Wilfred Zaha. What do you understand? You're our transfer guru, chief football correspondent. What's happening with Wilfred Zaha? Because they've offered him a big deal, haven't they, to stay at Crystal Palace?
Yeah, he's already their highest paid player, but he would be breaking his own record if he signed that deal. He's obviously injured at the moment, but he's using the club's medical facilities. And the longer it goes on, I think the more chance there is that he does stay at Palace. We know he's got offers from Lazio and from Fenerbahce, and as you mentioned, from Saudi Arabia. But
it's a £16 million a year net deal from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but that's a lot less than they're paying people like N'Golo Conte. I mean, my question, is it enough to persuade Wilfred Zaha to turn his back on Palace and turn his back on the Premier League?
How much do you earn at Palace?
Well, I think the offer is $200,000 a week. So what's that work out a year? Obviously, it's not tax-free, which
10
is
million,
the big
5
difference.
million net, really.
Yeah.
6.
So it's 3 times the amount to go to Saudi Arabia. Is that enough to tempt him to the Middle East?
I'm not convinced.
What would you do with Wilfred Zaha? Why not big Premier League clubs sniffing around him?
That's the really interesting question. We talked about these offers on the table. Why are there not more English clubs who want to sign Wilf Zaha on a free transfer? His numbers were good last season. He's proved it in the Premier League.
It's a good question. Probably the wages. If he's being offered what you said in Saudi, and then his representatives are going to Premier League clubs and having conversations, and they're saying, well, this needs to be in the number of whatever, most people are going to go, no. They're not going to use that bigger chunk. Because although he's a super talent, how many clubs in the division firstly can pay what he'd want? And then...
Is his age against him?
A little bit. But I think when you start commanding the type of wages that we're talking about there, 200 plus, most clubs who spend that on players are looking at real superstars in their team, game changers. And those 4 or 5 clubs we're talking about have different preferences. Don't think he would be the first choice. Because when you go through the teams, would he play in Arsenal's first 11?
No.
Well, some might have him ahead of Martinelli, but doubtful.
Really?
Well, some might. I don't know. I wouldn't.
No, me neither.
There's nearly... exactly. So we probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay. Liverpool?
No.
Man U?
No.
Exactly. And then we go...
Chelsea?
I said top 6 teams.
There's a text message that came in a little bit earlier on that said that Matterface and Crook are so biased because they're both Man United
Well, even
fans.
at Tottenham, if Son
They
plays...
ain't.
Son on the left.
As you've just heard. He's ribbing me.
Son and Kane.
Darren Ambrose, who played with him, says he's the best player outside the top 6. And then I remind him that Tottenham finished outside the top 6, and Harry Kane might have a little bit to say about that.
Well, he probably meant in his position. Well, I was trying to help him out here. Probably meant in his position.
It means the traditional top 6.
Yes,
that's what he means.
Do you know I got him on a technicality.
Why are you having a go at Ambrose for? He's not here to defend himself.
I'll tell you what, it is the wages, it must be. Because if you think about it, say you're Newcastle and you're now going to be in the Champions League, that would be a great prospect for Wilf because he's going to play Champions League football and he's at a big club like Newcastle. You get rid of St. Maximum and you let Zaha and Gordon or Joe Lennon fight it out on the left, and Gordon can play on the right as well. Zaha's going to contribute. He can play through the middle.
But it's not just the wages, is it? Because the wages actually probably more than Harvey Barnes, but also Harvey Barnes' age is on his side, whereas Wilf is getting towards the latter end of his career.
Wages would be an issue for Newcastle.
That's what I'm saying.
Eddie Howe is quite strict on a salary cap. He doesn't want people necessarily coming in and earning $200,000 a week to upset the harmony in the dressing room, which I think was a big part of Newcastle's strength last season. That will have to change eventually.
Okay, we'll see whether it does or not.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.